we've done a few pieces of the puzzle, right? Like we registered a domain name, maybe. We've uploaded some stuff to the internet. We should bring them together, right? And be able to use them both. So instead of the very delightful URL that we currently have for our site, we can have a less bad one. Again, no requirement that you bought a domain, but let's take a look at what that might look like. So we'll head into Route 53. And so we can go to our registered domains at this point. And I got superawesome.click. And it is currently set to auto renew. I'm going to turn that off now because otherwise I can tell you what will happen a year from now. But if you picked a domain that wasn't just for example purposes and you want to continue using it, you do not have to unclick that. You might also see a very angry alert saying that your domain might be suspended. We talked about this. That when I drew your attention to that little line after we registered it, was like, oh, we're going to send you an email. You should click the link in there. If you did not, there's now a very angry alert that is showing up probably over here somewhere. But I did, so I do not presently see that. All right, cool. So we can go into Manage DNS, which is this middle button right here. Right, and we can go ahead and we can click on it, and let's hit Edit. So you can see we've got some basic descriptions and stuff along those lines. Not much to do in there. Go ahead and let's also view the details. You would think that edit is the place where you edit the information on where it shows, but you can see there's nothing really in there. It's actually view details. We've got right now the NS record and the SOA record. What we want to do is point it towards our S3 bucket. In AWS, you actually have in addition to some of the more normal ones like your MX records, so on and so forth, you have the ability to alias it to another Amazon resource, which is one of the reasons why doing it in Route 53 is just a little bit easier than pointing it and getting it to, setting up all that stuff to resolve to the bucket, where the small little switch over here, I'll hover over it for a second, we can flip that, and there's a lot less options in this case. And so now we can go ahead and we have a record type where, let's see, we can alias it to another record in this hosted zone, or alias to S3 website endpoint. Well, we have an S3 bucket. We did flip on the static website hosting, so that seems like our best bet. We choose a region. If for some reason you did not choose US East 1, just keep note of that at this moment. I believe I did choose US East 1, and then we should see our site. So you should have that all in place, and then hit Create Records. And that should go ahead and create you an A record for your S3 bucket. So now you should, maybe not instantaneously. So if you got really excited and you went over there, it's not working yet, it's because DNS takes time. DNS is replicated over hundreds of servers around the world. It might take a second or two. So we're going to do something else before I immediately go over and declare victory. We're going to go and register the SSL cert, because that is also going to take a few seconds as well. So we'll do that. By the time that train gets pulled into the station, the DNS should have propagated for our domain, but we'll see. Awesome. So we'll go. This is yet another Amazon tool, right? So we're going to go from Route 53 to the Amazon Certificate Manager. Just type in cert. Cool. So now we've got that. We're going to go click on this Request a Certificate button. This is allowing us to have HTTPS traffic in addition to HTTP. That whole not secured thing on our list of things that we need to solve for, this is the kind of next way for us to start checking off boxes on that list. So we'll go ahead and super awesome. Nope. Awesome dot click, clock, click. I'm going to add another one, which is going to be www dot. Cool. So there's a bunch of ways for it to do this now. You can either have DNS validation or email validation. A DNS validation basically just puts a little note on the actual DNS record to say, like, I can prove that I own this because I put the little secret that you asked for on the DNS record. If you are doing this through Route 53, this is pretty easy because they will basically do it all for you. You just kind of have to like green light all the steps along the way. So cool, we'll go with DNS validation. Otherwise, there's an email version as well. All right, and so now let's see. We hit request. There it is. I had to hit refresh before it showed up. So we can hit that. Let's go click on this one for a second. So this is pending validation. Now, you might think to yourself, OK, I wait. Right? That seems what the screen is telling you to do. No, you do not wait, because you will wait a very long time. What you need to do is see where it says create records in Route 53. As we mentioned, they're going to say, hey, we're going to go check to see if these like special secrets are on the DNS registration, right? And so even that last page, like I had to refresh. It's like, oh, pending validation. Like a lot of things take time. This case, it does take time, but there's also an action that you need to take that if you don't take, it will just never happen. And that's why we're together today. Because otherwise, you will learn this the hard way, like I did, over the course of 3 days. Because you're like, 10 minutes, grace. 30 minutes, OK, maybe. 3 hours, possibly. The next day, you start to get suspicious. But you go through the cycle. Like first, you blame yourself. But no. Awesome. So now I've successfully created the DNS records. And now at this point, I should now go ahead and wait a little bit, and everything should be OK. But yeah, there's not really a great sign around that at first. All right, so while that happens, we should be able to check. Let's see. Super awesome. No, that was the full one. Autocomplete failed me. All right. So I don't have the SSL cert just yet because we just kicked that off. But you can now see I can go to my domain name, and it is showing up, right, as my super awesome .click website with all my ipsums and my one picture of the Beatles. So we have all of that in place. We still have that problem that we saw before, though, right? I went to /notes/cupcake, strong URL, superawesome.click/notes/cupcake. I'm into it. And then if I go hit refresh, we get that 404 not found, which makes sense because that key does not actually exist in that S3 bucket, right? It feels like something's broken. It's not really broken. It's just not what we wanted. So we need to address that. The first 1 or 2 ways that we go about it are not going to feel good, but we don't really have a lot of great options. Towards the end, we will figure out some ways to go about this. You have ways that you could handle this. You could theoretically, if you had a kind of either a framework that supported like SSR or a separate way to build your site, you could be like, OK, we've got the general entry point, like index.html, and then we kind of build a static version of the site, and we SSR in the client-side code. Yeah, that's great. Like, and there are frameworks that do that, right? Something like Next or SvelteKit or something like that might do something like that. The other option is being like, listen, no matter what they put at the end, send them to index.html and load up my client-side app and let the client-side router figure out to show them a 404 page or not. This will theoretically work. It does involve you playing a little bit fast and loose with HTTP status codes, right? Because you're going to say, like, listen, wherever they go, bring them to .html, and we'll figure it out later, which puts you in the precarious situation of saying either almost everything is a 200 OK, or 400s don't mean anything. 404s don't mean anything. Now, if that makes you uneasy, we will get there. We will fix it towards the end. But we were going to live with discomfort for a little bit and just figure out how to mostly get it working and then improve upon our solution as time goes on. So let's go ahead and let's get that in place. So for this, we're going to go back to S3. And that's fine because we're waiting for our certificate to cook for a little bit anyway. We'll go over to our bucket. And we've got a few different options here. Let's go over to properties, and down at the bottom we've got that bucket hosting. So we have that index.html. We have the issue where an error, where should they go? Now, we talked about it. So our easiest way to do that right now to get everything working just on S3 alone would be to say, let's let React Router handle this, right? If it is a place they can go, great. If it's not a place, fine, that too. So we can just put that in there. Again, we will swap it out for a better solution in a little bit, but that will work for now. So now, no matter what, they will, if we go back to our page and we refresh, we'll actually get the client-side routing working as we expected it. It'll be a little squirrely in the network, right? You can see it's technically a 404 because it missed the S3 bucket, but the page that we showed them loaded up the client-side app and did the right thing. Again, suboptimal, and we will make it more better as time goes on, but that is a piece of it.